What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 9, episode 12. And girl, Giselle, girl, Karen, girl, okay, Mia, girl, and Jacqueline, why are you still here? Just why? Why? But let's get into this review. Y'all know sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy, just a little bit. And I just got a few things to talk about. So, first up, shouts out to OMFG Reality TV. It looks like the next episode of Real Housewives of Potomac will not air until January the 5th. So, you get 2 weeks off from Real Housewives of Potomac. Next, it looks like they are gearing up to film the reunion. So, shouts out to JB Says What. He messaged me, not messaged me, but commented in one of my videos about them not filming the reunion until January the 9th. Definitely check out his content. So it looks like he was right because Andy sent out his annual reunion tweet for Potomac, basically asking, hey, y'all, give me your name, where you're from, and a question. And most of the questions were about Mia and Karen. Lord, Karen gonna need the whole armor of God for this reunion, okay? So while we're talking about Karen, now if you want to know my thoughts about the DUI of it all, I did 3 videos, okay, on the channel. They're all the drama videos. I'll put the thumbnails on the screen, but I talked about, day 1 of the trial, the guilty verdict, as well as the page 6 article alleging that Bravo told Karen she got to clean up her act and come correct at the reunion if she wants to keep her, what's it called? Her standing with the network. All right. So definitely check those videos out. All I'm gonna say is Karen got a problem. Karen has a problem, and I think her ego and her pride got the best of her. And maybe her thinking that, she is the grand dame and how much people enjoy her and the character that she plays. She thought maybe she could beat this, but it also makes me feel like Karen is in denial as how bad her situation is when it comes to drinking. Because, girl, you said you was Thomas Jefferson's concubine. You owned a plantation. You were black and Russian. That you were a real rich lady and you be in jail for a year to 2 years, and you might be, okay? It's just, girl. You even said in one of the videos, one of the body cam footage, that you were lit. And that man, the police officer said, no, girl, you're hammered. Oh, God, Karen. I don't know. I just hope that Karen gets the help that she needs. Do I want to see Karen in jail? No. I know other people want her to be reprimanded in that way. That's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But for me, I don't want to see Karen in jail. I actually want Karen to go to rehab, like a 3 to 6 month rehab, and really work on why she feels the need to drink to that extent, or why she made that choice. Okay? Because that's bad. You know what I mean? That's bad. But let's move on to Mia. So Mia and Giselle, I feel like it's gonna be nasty at the reunion, and it better be on Giselle's part. As nasty as you was to Wendy and Candace, you better give Mia the business, or you not gonna beat them colorism allegations. You already not beating them right now, ma'am, but you definitely are not gonna beat them after what the Jasmine brand just posted today. So the Jasmine brand posted that Mia called Giselle's daughters whores. And it was interesting because prior to that being posted on Friday, it was posted by Queens of Bravo. Mia was calling Giselle out about saying that she was dead to her. And it was underneath a video where Giselle was on the Breakfast Club talking about Mia. And Charlamagne the God asked Giselle, well, we heard that you said that Mia was dead to you. Like, do you mean that? And Giselle said, yeah. So Mia said this. Meanwhile, she hugged me, said, hi, Mama Mia, then proceeded to sit down with her renter man shoulder to shoulder with me at the Love Lagoon, all kikiing. Be for real, Giselle. You got mad. You got mad because you got the call. And I guess she's saying production told her to like amp it up. She said, 2, maybe 3 episodes later, you all of a sudden are mad. Girl, bye. Return to center. Be careful when you wish death on God's children. I don't know. I feel like I'm taking this, like, Mia's reads don't eat for me because I don't think that highly of Mia, and maybe that's the reason. I think calling her Jahel is kind of funny, but also I don't know. I kind of see where Mia's coming from. Like, girl, we saw each other multiple times and you never checked me, and now all of a sudden I'm dead to you. Like, where is this coming from? But hey, maybe she marinated on it and was like, okay, it's time to react. So let's get to what the Jasmine brand posted today. So it says this exclusive RHOP star Mia Thornton and Giselle Bryant allegedly begged production to edit out scenes of Mia calling Giselle's daughters whores. So I'm not going to read the whole caption, but I'm going to summarize it for you. So basically, they said that the altercation or the verbal altercation that Mia and Giselle got into, I don't know if they're referring to what happened while they were in Panama on this episode, or maybe later down the line where we see Giselle call Mia, "You're a horrible mother," and stuff like that. But they're saying that Mia retaliated by hurling insults at Giselle and mainly her daughters, calling them whores. Now, if that is true, and Giselle and Mia begged for them to take it out, I think Giselle should have just let it play, because that would have just shown who Mia really is. Because honestly, girl, there's no rebuttal to this. You know what I'm saying? It'd be one thing if, like, Giselle was attacking Mia's children, but no, she was attacking your parenting. Her and Karen basically said, girl, you weren't protecting your children. And a lot of people agree, and you're not. So she was attacking your parenting. You should have reversed that and attacked her parenting. But you didn't. You basically said she's acting like her life is perfect when her children are problem children, and saying that they fast little girls. And then they're alleging that you called them whores. That makes you look even worse, especially with the upbringing you had. You shouldn't be slut shaming nobody, miss. I was stripping in gowns in North Carolina, feeding people lobster and having sex on the beach. Yeah, no, let's talk about it. So the episode picks up where it left off, where you got Jacqueline showing up to Karen's house with 8 heart balloons signifying all 8 of Karen's citations, and her dog is with her. Or somebody's dog is with her. I don't know. But the dog just walked up on the property. So I don't know. So, and it didn't seem like it was Jacqueline's dog, because it wasn't like she told the dog to come with her. Or we saw the animal following behind her. So maybe it was like a neighbor's dog. I don't know. So Jacqueline pulls up. Karen is immediately like, get off my, like, leave. Like, get out of my, like, backyard. Get away from my home. I'm about to call 911. Like, don't play with me, Jacqueline. And Jacqueline's like, Karen, I come in peace. I come in love. Everybody's reactions, like, vary. You have Stacy, like, shocked and kind of disgusted at the fact that Jacqueline's like, I brung 8 balloons to signify all 8 of your citations. She's like, oh, that's not funny. That's not funny. Jazzy is annoyed. She rolling her eyes like, girl, why are you here? Giselle is laughing at it, but Giselle ends up saying that she didn't hear the whole citations part, which I find kind of hard to believe when it's like, girl, you were sitting there, but maybe she was too caught up in the chaos. Wendy is just like, girl, you really here? Ashley is just like, Jesus. And then you got Eddie singing Kumbaya, my Lord. I said, Eddie, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Kiana ends up saying, girl, you come to somebody's house uninvited. You don't look good because your outfit is a fool and you being shady. Yeah, it's time for you to exit stage left. So we see Mia laughing at the whole entire situation. She even gets up to hug Jacqueline when Jacqueline finally decides to like leave after passing out all of her balloons. And Ray ends up following Mia and Jacqueline outside to escort them to their car. Karen is like, stop touching her, because Ray kind of had his arm around Jacqueline, like, come on. And Jacqueline's like, it's okay, Ray. I'm sorry I came to your property. Being nice to Ray. And Ray was like, okay, y'all be safe, getting home. So then Mia continues walking Jacqueline out, and they're not on the driveway, but they're in the road leading into the driveway of Karen's home. And she's like, I'm not on property. We can have a conversation. And Mia ends up being like, you came with love and light, right? And Jacqueline's like, yeah, I did. Sometimes people need a grand gesture to really see where you're coming from. And Jacqueline's like, Mia ends up like, it's okay. Like, she can't do anything. Like, I don't even know how she's saying you're trespassing when she's renting this property. And I'm like, even if you rent a property, as long as you're paying on it, it's your property. It may be rented, it's still yours. And I find that dig really interesting coming out of Mia's mouth when every single place we've seen you in has been rented. You're the same stupid, I was about to call you something else. You're the same lady who was spending I think it was $65,000 or $10,000 on renovating a house that you were renting. in Potomac that was like across the street or up the street from Karen's place. And the place that you're living in now is a rented apartment. Just like the place that we saw you in when we first got introduced to you was a rented apartment. And shouts out to TV Deets because they ended up posting, let me see if I can find it in my phone. Let me see, y'all. They ended up finding out that Mia also hasn't, paid her rent. They posted, it says, not Mia talking about the status of Karen's home when she's been sued multiple times for failure to pay rent. And it's January. So she got one in January the 18th, 2024, and then November the 3rd, 2023. So let's not do that, Mia. Let's not do that. And, guilty conviction aside for Karen, guilty conviction aside for Miss Karen, Jacqueline was wrong. You don't show up to somebody's property, especially if they do not invite you there. And they specifically told you were not invited there. Like, you put yourself in danger. You put the other people around you in danger because if anything, she would be well within her right to put hands on you because you were on her property and she asked you not to be there. And this thing fell flat. Because it's like you came there. I'm here in love and light. Like, maybe you could have stayed if you just would have showed up being like, hey, I'm Mia's, special someone. She asked me to be here. Maybe that could have changed the tide. But coming there trying to like embarrass her and shame her with the heart balloons, it just didn't eat, girl. It didn't. Even with the body cam footage and the guilty conviction, it was just kind of like, you're a loser for even thinking that this was okay to show up at somebody's house where you were specifically asked not to come. It wasn't a good look, Jacqueline. And Mia laughing was annoying as well. So Mia comes back into the party and she's like, Karen, why couldn't she stay? What's the issue, Karen? What's the issue? And Karen's like, Mia, get out my face. Like, for real, get out my face. Like, I'm not playing with you. Get out my face. And Mia ends up saying in her confessional, and it's crazy because it's kind of like maybe Mia and Karen like see each other, because Karen says in her confessional, Mia doesn't live in reality, she lives in survival mode. And Mia ends up saying in her confessional that Karen just needs to be honest about her DUI and say that the story that she gave us wasn't the real story and let us be there for her. And it's like y'all both see each other. Karen is deflecting and in denial about how severe her DUI case was, and you don't live in reality because you think what you're doing is normal and it's not, and it's actually detrimental to everybody, including yourself, that's involved in it. So as they're sitting down, we find out that Kiana can't eat none of the food because she, allergic to cheese. I said, dang, girl, Karen could have asked you, are you lactose intolerant? But before Stacey ends up asking, Mia about how did Jacqueline find out where they was at, Karen does a toast basically saying, let's toast that Jacqueline gets home safely. So Mia ends up saying that she didn't invite Jacqueline. And Stacey's like, are you sure about that? She was like, yeah, she just told me that she was going to stop by because she lives in the area. Even if you knew she was going to stop by, you should have gave the hostess whose house you were at a heads up. So I definitely feel like Mia prompted Jacqueline to come. She basically had that lady do her dirty work. That's it. And Giselle ends up being like, that would because Stacey is saying that was messed up for her to say, like, I'm here to give you balloons for your 8 citations. And Giselle's like, oh, I didn't hear that. And I'm like, how did you not hear it? She was in your face, but I don't know. So then Giselle ends up being like, I don't know why Mia is having Jacqueline do her dirty work. This Mia I'm seeing, I'm not really into. So then Mia, wanting attention, she jumps in the pool when nobody else was in the pool, and everyone's laughing like, look at Mia, look at that, blah, blah, blah. So then the next scene we see is like 3 days later, and everyone's gearing up, getting ready to, pack, getting ready to go to Panama. We see Mia in her, closet that is a master bedroom, and she's pretty much asking her daughter for help. And we find out that Mia is having her children be taken care of with a nanny. I didn't understand why they lingered on that until it got to the end of the episode. Because she's like, I feel good. They're going to be with the nanny. Everything's going to be okay. Everybody just pull up to the airport. We find out that Josh, a.k.a., the Timu Jack Harlow, drops off Ashley. Ashley is acting like she is so sprung and so into this man, and it's just not given. It's given storyline. I mean, I'm not saying that Josh is ugly. He is kind of cute, but he not my type of white guy. So, it wouldn't rock for me, but it's just kind of like it just feels forced from Ashley, so it doesn't feel real. But he drops her off at the airport. We see Jacqueline get there, then we see Karen. Karen is kind of like, ugh, here she is. We see Wendy pull up. Wendy's basically hoping that the girls can make amends, but if they don't, she ain't really rocking with it. She was like, I don't care, ain't got nothing to do with me. So then we see um Giselle and Karen have a talk of basically being like, it's time we do an OG check, because Giselle ends up saying that Jacqueline was way out of line to come to your house and do that. Like, there was no point for her to come to the house. Then Mia pulls up. Mia in this wig is atrocious. That's how you know that lady on hard times, because who took a permanent marker and filled in your roots? If the roots were going to be that defined, then you just should have had on an all blonde wig. Because girl, it's given that you got this wig, I don't know, out of like the Shein gift shop, because I don't understand why it's like blonde, 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 dark. Like, roots are not that pronounced. Like, girl, you need to, girl, you should have got it's ugly. Take that wig off, Mia. Just take it off. Take it off. So they land in Panama. Everyone is excited. The scenery is beautiful. Then Wendy lets them know they got a 2-hour ride to the resort. This definitely had to be promotion for the resort, because honestly, it didn't even look like anybody was at the resort when they got there. Like, nobody was in the pool. Like, the vibes weren't really vibing the way that I thought they were going to be vibing. But to be honest, any resort that's 2 hours away from the airport, I wouldn't really go to. At the most, I think the farthest the resort has ever been, when I've gone to like a tropical country, or a country in like the Caribbeans or something like that, has been like 30 minutes. And that's it. Ain't no way. Because then you have to, now I'm thinking about having to like wake up 3 hours in advance just to get ready to get to the airport. No. You dropped the ball with that, Wendy. No. And it was Karen when she was like 2 hours, and Karen said, like, she was appalled. I said I'd have been sick. Honestly, I'd have put my headphones in, put my shades on, and took me a nap. Like, I would not want to talk to anybody because I would have been irritated. So then all of a sudden, Stacy wants to talk when they're like 15 minutes into the ride. And she ends up being like, Karen, how did you like the whole Love Lagoon party? And Karen says, no, I think it went really well. So then Stacey ends up turning her attention to Ashley, being like, well, Ashley said she had her spidey sense tingling. What was that all about, Ashley? And Ashley basically said, it's not giving the vibe that he's like really into you like that. It's just I'm catching some things from TJ. So then Stacey ends up asking Kiana, and Kiana said we did a church kiss. Now, mind you, when they showed the kiss, it didn't even look like they kissed. And if they did kiss, it was very like, it wasn't, I don't even think their lips really even touched. It was very like it just didn't look real. I said, is that a actor's kiss? Because she leans in to kiss TJ, and it just didn't fit, no passion behind it. I said, Christians be getting down, okay? I don't even think you can call that a Christian kiss. It was very fake. It was very fake. And then you got Stacey in the confession. What's wrong with a Christian Chris? My Lord. I said, Stacey, shut up, Stacey. I can't. And then Karen pretty much clocks Stacey, because Stacey ends up saying like, I'm not at the point in our relationship where I'm ready to commit like that, okay? Like, we're in a good space. So then Karen basically said, well, Stacey, when you introduced the relationship to us, you made it seem like you and him were madly in love. And they flash back to when they were in Lake Norman. And girl, you really said that. You said, I'm with a man that loves me and I love him. So you're the one giving people mixed signals. So then Karen ends up saying like, we're just looking out for you. And the only person that made me feel like this relationship wasn't like something is TJ, not you. It's TJ. So then Stacey's in her confessional being like, it's starting to feel more like ridicule than concern. And it's like everyone needs to worry about their men or the lack thereof. And I said, okay, Stacey, we're gonna let this read go, because this is the second time you did this. Second time, men of lack. The truth be told, Stacey, like I've been saying, it is definitely given that, like, because your husband wouldn't film with you, or you didn't want to talk about your divorce, and maybe what they were saying on that TV Deeds blind item about possibly like you lying about your storyline, and you brought TJ in to help, is what you're doing, because it definitely doesn't give that he likes you. It doesn't. Or maybe it gives that you like him more than he likes you. But either way, it's not he's not giving those feelings. Like everyone keeps saying, there's nothing wrong with him being celibate. It's the energy that he gives you. He gives that like he don't like you. Like there's been multiple times where he's like slick disrespected you and you just accept it and keep it pushing. And then you expect people to just think it's normal. I don't know what you want from them. So they're almost like, I think they're like an hour and 46 minutes into the ride. And then Ashley, no, I think it was Mia talking about like, all jokes aside, I'm really proud of you guys. Me, Stacy, Ashley, we give her a hard time about her pool boy boyfriend. But it takes a lot of courage. I said that would have pissed me off. Like, girl, shut up. We've been on this ride for 2 hours. Shut up, okay? And so Ashley ends up saying that she really likes Josh and she's never felt this way about another man other than Michael. I said, for real? Okay. So then Wendy ends up saying that she could do better than Jack Harlow. And I said, I kind of believe it, but also I don't believe this storyline. They pull up to the resort. It's really nice. The staff is outside. They do a cute little dance for the people and they get to the villa. They're actually really nice and there's 3 villas. So in the first villa, you have Mia, Kiarna, and Wendy. In the second villa, you have Ashley, Karen, and Jacqueline. And the way that Karen went, like, how dare you? And Jacqueline even said in her confessional that Wendy, you have to watch because Wendy likes to throw rocks and hide her hands. Wendy basically says she chose chaos on this trip because what's a trip without chaos? I said a good trip. Okay, what do you mean, girl? So Kiana's just happy she not in bunk beds. So that's it. So then the last villa had Stacy and Giselle. And Giselle is like, for real? And she said in her confession, don't nobody want to stay with Stacy, not even TJ. And they flashed back to when TJ was like, you're correct, Giselle, we're not together like that. So Wendy basically says she put Stacy and Giselle together because she feels like Stacy was going to get on Giselle's nerves. And she was correct. So we see Ashley, Jacqueline, and Karen in their room together. And Karen's like, I'm gonna create some distance in between me and Jacqueline. I'm gonna take the room on the floor, first floor. I'm gonna take the room upstairs. You don't even gotta worry about me. I said, Karen. So we see everybody get ready. It's time for dinner. So they're having dinner on the beach. They get outside. Everyone's dressed pretty nicely. They have people dancing. And Giselle's like, why the man got on a hard hat? And Karen's like, I guess they trying to be the village people. Then there was a character that was dressed up like the devil called Diablo, which is devil in Spanish. And everybody was dancing. Kiara was like, I don't dance with the devil. I'm good. I'm gonna slide over here. But they seemed to be having a good time. Karen was really dancing with them. And Mia was like, see, she too comfortable dancing with the devil because it's in her. So they sit down. Then they start asking the guy who's hosting them, like, what does the dance mean? And he was like, girl, it was just a dance. The man got a mask on. It was just a dance. It's a dance of the devil trying to get you to do things. I don't know. Just be happy we did this for y'all. It's real late at night. Ain't nobody at this resort. We're trying to get this advertisement going. So while they're sitting there, Karen ends up saying, that's why he was drawn to me because there's all this negative, dark energy around me just coming towards me. And they were like, what's the dark energy? And Karen said, Jacqueline. I cackled, but I said, girl, it's that DUI. It's that spirit of alcoholism that's darkness on you, girl, that you need to get up off you, all right? So Karen is just like, I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sorry for cursing, but it had to be said. So while they're sitting there, Giselle decides, it's time for the OG check, and she's checking Jacqueline, basically saying, Jacqueline, I don't think it was right for you to come to Karen's event, especially when she told you not to be there. Like, why would you show up to her house and she specifically told you not to be there? So then Ashley in her confessional is like, this is kind of rich coming from Giselle. When, girl, last time we did something similar to this where we dressed up as like pizza men and dropped pizza boxes off at Karen's house. So that's the pot calling the kettle black. Like, what are we talking about? And I mean, Ashley has a point, but she ain't saying it to Giselle's face, so you lose a point there. Like, you should have spoke up in that moment and been like, girl, we did the same thing. But I guess Giselle is trying to, like, be more reasonable this season and be like, yeah, girl, no, you was wrong for that. Because in our, like, aside from the Pizzagate of it all, like, Jacqueline was wrong for coming to that lady's house and she told her not to be there. Point blank, period. And they were wrong for pulling up to Karen's house, it was like, as fake pizza delivery men and dropping off a pizza. Disrespectful. So Jacqueline ends up being like, well, you guys don't understand why I did what I did. Like, if you didn't hear all of what I was doing, the reason why I did it was trying to showcase that, like, I know that Karen had this heavy burden on her about this DUI case, and I was just trying to say and signify, like, you know, the releasing of that stress and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so Karen is looking at her like, girl, that's not why you came there. That is not why you came there, girl. You came there to try to play in my face, and it didn't land the way you wanted it to, and now you're trying to clean it up. So Karen's like, are you done? Are you done? So she's like, I began the process of pressing charges against you, okay, for releasing balloons. Wendy starts cackling. I mean, cackling. And she was like, because you know, you're not supposed to release balloons. It's bad for the environment. You got Stacey being like, yeah, the birds and the animals, which is true. You shouldn't release balloons in the air. It messes up the ozone layer and all stuff, and it kills a lot of animals. And so Wendy's like, I didn't know Karen was a part of the EPA. You got Ashley being like, okay, Captain Planet. Okay, girl. But I would have been Wendy cackling. So then Mia is like, Karen, you release balloons for your parents. And they did show her do it back in 2018. And you got Jacqueline just looking at Karen like, seriously? And so then this didn't age well for Karen when she was like, officer, arrest her, clankety clank.
Arrest her.
That's
Clankety clank,
you.
bitch.
The clankety clank. Maybe you come January the 29th. You might be going to jail, sis. So I wouldn't put that out in the atmosphere. So like Giselle said, girl, Karen, worried about the cases, you know, the case you got going on, not trying to put a case on Jacqueline. Now, mind you, maybe Karen was trying to have a new cellmate and get Jacqueline thrusted into the same jail cell as her. I don't know. So Jacqueline ends up being like, Karen, I understand that you hate me like Diablo. I get it. Like, it's totally understandable. Like, it's okay. It's okay. We had a friendship. And Karen is like, I guess we had a friendship. So then Mia interjects because I think someone was like, well, how did she get to Karen's house? And I think Karen was like, because Mia gave her the address. And Mia was like, I did not give her the address. But then it flashes back to where Mia admits that Jacqueline was in the area. So how did she get there? Girl, you gave her the address, sis. So then Giselle ends up saying, Mia, I don't know what's going on with you, but you've really been lashing out lately, just like how you came for me and my kids. They go back to when Mia brought up the whole story about them being in the DR while they were on vacation. The girls had snuck a guy over to the house and Giselle caught them on the ring light, and Mia said, girl, you try to pretend like your life is all perfect and your kids are perfect, but your kids are doing these types of things. So Giselle basically ends up telling Mia, if you think my kids are perfect, then they are perfect for me. What they decide to put on social media is what they decide, and what I decide to put out there is what I decide to put out there. So to come from my kids was totally out of line, and it was out of left field. And Mia tries to say, well, I only said that because you try to act like your kids are perfect and give this like perfect reel of like what's going on in your life. So then Ashley speaks up and says that, Mia, you do the same. You basically told us that you and Gordon were at odds, and then next thing you know, you get on the internet, y'all are all like this, y'all buddy, and you're celebrating Father's Day, shouting out Ink and Gordon, and it's confusing to us. It's really confusing to us. So then Ashley's in her confessional being like, the fact that Mia is doubling down on what she said about Giselle's daughters is nasty behavior, and it's like, girl, all you need to say is like, hey, I was heated in the moment and I shouldn't have said that, my bad. But the fact that you keep going, that says a lot about you. So then Wendy chimes in, and Wendy basically says, I got to say something. Like, it's mighty interesting that when me and Candace were making faces about your kids, about Grace, that you bit our heads off. But this lady directly comes for your children, and we have to have a conversation about it. We got to talk about it. Like, Giselle is very selective about who she gives her, like, you know, grace to. And that's why I said you're not beating them colorism allegations, Giselle, because let me tell you, you would be well within your right to reach across that table and muff the SHIT out of Mia, okay? When I tell you, we don't condone violence, but if it was me, I don't have kids, but I know how I feel if I would have pushed something out my coochie, okay, and I didn't got it to be 18 years old and gone off to college, I would have hopped across that table and popped her in her mouth. Because what you're not going to do is talk about my kids, okay? Because we don't know where your kid's going to be in the next couple of years. She done did what she needed to do. Her daughters are in college and seem to be doing well. Your kids are still getting there. All right. We don't know where they're going to be. Probably in therapy after having you for a parent. Okay. So Mia ends up saying, but you did come for my kids. And I'm like, no, Mia, she did not. She came for your parenting. I hate when parents do that. Well, you did come for my kids. Y'all say that when you don't have a rebuttal. Karen and Giselle said, girl, you didn't protect your kids after Gordon said they caught you in bed with Jeremiah. Now, was Gordon wrong for bringing that to the show? Absolutely. He was out of line. But you were wrong for being in bed with another man while your kids was at the house. That's disrespectful. That's disrespectful to your kids, to Gordon, and to yourself. Because if you wanted this to be clean, you would have made it clean. But you didn't make it clean. You didn't make it clean. Okay, so then all of a sudden, Jacqueline chimes in basically saying that Mia's going through a rough time. And I don't think you guys truly understand what all she's going through. Ends up being like, well, I give everybody their just due. I'm a kid that grew up in the foster care system. And when it's Mother's Day, I salute all the mothers that took care of me and all the fathers that took care of me. And I did that for my village, basically. So then she starts crying. She was like, every day is something different as I deal with Gordon's mental health. And then you got Karen and Giselle now feeling bad for the lady because she was like, every day it's something different and I'm just trying to maneuver, okay? Crying with no tears, okay? Crying with no tears. So then Wendy chimes in, and it's annoying how much Wendy defends Mia when Mia doesn't defend Wendy. And she's basically like, I'm going to meet you where you're at. If you want us to be there with you without judgment, then that's how I'm going to meet you. So then they all are like, Mia, if you want our help, just say that and we'll be there for you. So they leave the table. It's the next day. We see Jacqueline trying to take pictures and Karen opts to actually be nice to her and take her picture as an olive branch. But she basically said, if she mess up anymore, I'm done with her. We then get this awkward scene of Jacqueline pushing her chair up to the table to come sit and eat with the ladies who are sitting at the table. And I know production emphasized how loud that was because it's basically making it seem like Jacqueline is not wanted there. And she probably isn't wanted there. And it's her own fault because she attached her wagon to Mia. And it was such an awkward and cringy scene. So then Wendy comes out and she's gifting everybody these bags with their names on them. And it's like, I think they're going to go walk around the town and then go to a rum tasting. Next thing you know, we hear Mia on the phone with her mama being like, this doesn't make sense. He's not picking up the phone. We find out that Gordon went to Jacqueline's house where her sister is supposed to be their nanny, picked up his kids and then took them 4 hours away, probably took them back to North Carolina and dropped them off at their old nanny. And granted, here's the thing. I don't know how invested I am in this because if Gordon is such a threat and a danger to Mia and the kids, then why hasn't Mia filed the proper paperwork? Because honestly, him picking up his kids, those are his kids. He can pick them kids up if he wants to. But he should be telling her where he's taking his kids. He should be picking up the phone, but he's not doing it. But technically, is he doing anything really wrong if she hasn't filed the paperwork? He's good enough to watch your kids when you go down to Atlanta and be with Ink, but he not good enough to take his kids out the state and to, their old nanny. I don't know. I don't know how. I'm not about to be invested in this, but we know the kids are okay. But if Mia really thinks that Gordon is a threat, then sis, file the paperwork. Get the divorce going. Get primary custody so he'll have supervised visitation. If not, don't try to poke at people's heartstrings about the safety of your children. Because if it was that serious to you, you would have got back on a plane and went back to the DMV area and went looking for your kids. You wouldn't have stayed in Panama, in my opinion. Yeah, y'all. Giselle not beating them colorism allegations because, like I said, Giselle would be well within her right to just pop Mia and her stuff, okay? You out here allegedly calling her kids whores. You doubling down on trying to paint this narrative out there that they're fast. And Giselle is just like, we're going to have a conversation. Now, on one hand, I can kind of see where it's like, oh, we're friends and, I'll give you more grace because you're my friend versus Wendy when it's like, girl, we're not friends. I don't like you. Don't speak about my kids. But I feel like It should be the reverse reaction. You can still be mad at someone talking about your kids that you don't like, but you should be even more mad at a person that is your friend that knows your kids for saying those things about your children. And Mia at this point is a cow with no milk. She dehydrated. There's nothing coming out of this, because I don't know what would possess you to say that about someone's child or children when we see what you giving us. I don't know. That is all. As always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in them comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe if you like the video, as well as happy holidays, and be safe out there. All right. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.